You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
We work closely with employers and we're looking at how can we help them fill those skills gaps. So that's a shortage of plumbers, electricians, mechanics, machinists, and so forth.
Trade schools, the numbers are on the rise to help fill the growing need for those jobs. But what are the benefits? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the reemergence of trade schools in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. The good news right now, love bugs are taking a break from decorating your windshield because there's been a deluge outside. How long will it last? Let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Well, Ellen, it took its time getting here. A lot of dry air kind of moved in overnight, and that dry air stayed with us throughout much of the morning, early afternoon. Just enough heating of the day, though, to spark some inland storms that were very intense, especially along the East Coast. And then a patch of some moderate to heavy rainfall developed just in the eastern Gulf of Mexico that has been working its way onshore throughout the last several hours now. You can see that making its way through Venice and near Nokomis, also up to Osprey, Sarasota, even into Bradenton tonight. And then that heavy line of heavy storms right here, right along the border of Manatee, Hardee, DeSoto, and Sarasota counties, kind of training along here. This could be an area that we're going to see some flooding, and a flood advisory may be issued fairly soon for that area. This is the same area that was inundated yesterday with about 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. The rain is less now, but still moderate to light rain occurring from Anna Maria over to northwest Bradenton, southward down into Siesta Key. You can see Venice still getting some light rainfall there. A few lightning strikes are still lingering. These storms don't have a lot of vertical extent to them here, but the ones inland do. The ones I mentioned right on the border of Manatee and Sarasota, as well as into Hardee and DeSoto counties. So this is all going to be continuing to work its way onshore. There it is. We have Lido, Longboat Key, also getting some light to moderate rainfall. Northwest Bradenton near Palmasola and also Palmetto. There's the heavy weather we're keeping an eye on for the potential for some localized flooding problems there. And there's another line developing here. So these little pieces of energy are kind of rotating around this weak area of low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico, which is not moving all that much. It's going to stick around again on Wednesday. So there will be periods of sunshine followed by scattered showers and thunderstorms. A lot of the activity will be stronger in the afternoon and evening, similar to what we saw today. Al, we'll have much more on this system coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. Earlier this year, both the city of Sarasota and Manatee County joined more than 200 other cities and towns nationwide filing a lawsuit against pharmaceutical companies over the opioid epidemic. Today, Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi joined the party. Bondi filed an action in state court against some of the nation's largest opioid manufacturers and distributors. The suit is over their role in the national opioid crisis. The lawsuit alleges that the opioid manufacturers use front organizations and key opinion leaders to promote false messages.
In my 29 years of service, my record is 6 overdoses in one shift. 6 overdoses, one shift in 4 square miles. That's just one station, one area.
Tomorrow at ABC 7 at 7, we'll have an investigation on the opioid epidemic. A city street running right through the middle of Sarasota High School's campus may be soon closed. Right now at Sarasota High School, administrators watch complete strangers cut through the middle of the campus, walking or biking down School Avenue. It's left parents worried and students feeling unsafe. Tonight, Sarasota County's school board voted to put up fences and gates and close the portion of School Avenue between 6:30 a.m. and 10 p.m. when school is in session.
Right now we have an issue because it's porous and people can ride bicycles and walk through that campus any time of the day and do so. We've had people recently taking pictures of students and doing other things, so it's of great concern to us.
The issue will now go in front of the City Commission next Monday night. If it's approved by the Commission, School Avenue will be closed starting next school year.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, don't you take my school from me.
This is what board members and the community were greeted by when they entered tonight's school board meeting. About 24 members of an organization called Protect Our Schools of Minnesota stood outside the boardroom protesting Pinecrest Charter School. Their voices were heard, and school board sided with the protesters. The application lost by a vote of 4-1. 2 men are hospitalized after a scaffolding collapsed at a Sarasota car dealership this afternoon. It happened at the Mercedes-Benz Mercedes-Benz dealership on Clark Road around 4:45 this afternoon. A spokesperson for Sarasota County Fire tells us 2 men fell about 30 feet to the ground. Both were seriously hurt and taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital. New flashless traffic cameras are now being installed across Sarasota. Earlier this year, city commissioners voted to upgrade the cameras using a new vendor specializing in ones that don't flash when drivers run red lights. The city will pay about $70,000 a month for the cameras, but expect to generate more than that in fines. Last year alone, the city mailed out 30,000 tickets for $150 apiece to red light runners.
And so I do think they're a good tool. Definitely stops people from wanting to run through red lights.
No, it definitely generates revenue for the city, and I think that's what they want, especially though the city is actually expanding at such a rapid pace.
Commissioners also had the option to use license plate recognition, but that was turned down, citing an invasion of privacy. Florida Tax Watch is releasing a study projecting property taxes could grow by more than $700 million on non-homesteaded properties like businesses, apartments, and second homes. According to the think tank, this would happen if voters reject one of 13 state constitutional amendments that will go before voters this November. Known as Amendment 2, the proposal extends a current 10% cap on annual increases in assessed values of non-homesteaded properties, which voters approved in 2008.
If Amendment 2 fails to pass, this doesn't mean that the cap is just no longer going to be in effect going forward. It means that all of this property will suddenly be assessed at full value. That could be quite a big sticker shock when some people get their tax bills.
Winter expects potential tax increases would be passed along to renters and customers, making the issue important for those who own property or not. The parents of 2 of the Parkland school shooting victims are running for seats on the Broward County School Board. A gunman shot and killed 17 people at the Marjorie Stoneham Douglas High School on February 14th. Lori Adeleth lost her daughter Alyssa, and Ryan Petty lost his daughter Aliana.
I want to do everything possible to make this school system a model that other school districts will look and try to replicate. Our students, our teachers, our parents, our community deserves nothing less.
We've been advocates and activists for school safety since February 15th, right? So that mission will continue, but where we feel we could be most effective right now is making sure the kids in Broward County and the teachers in Broward County are safe.
The Broward County School District is the 6th largest school district in the United States and the 2nd largest in Florida, behind Miami-Dade County. And still to come, should students graduating from high school consider attending a trade school rather than a community college or a university?
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today.
Call 800-457-2317.
Go online or visit a Target store today.
there was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes. Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
At a recent rally, President Trump lauded trade schools. The only problem is he confused trade schools with community colleges, which they are not. But they are increasingly in vogue, with more young people seeking to learn a trade than the 2-year or 4-year degree. Dwayne Lindo joins us with more. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, it was a bit of a snafu while promoting his new infrastructure plan to a crowd of union engineers outside of Cleveland. But one thing is for sure, students seeking to learn a trade by certification course will not only finish in a fraction of the time than someone going to a traditional college, but may have a better chance of getting a job right out of school.
A word that you don't hear much, but when I was growing up, we had what was called vocational schools. They weren't called community colleges, because I don't know what that means, a community college. To me, it means a 2-year college. I don't know what it means.
But Suncoast Polytechnic student Carter Lowry can tell you exactly what it means. He doesn't attend a community college, but he's enrolled in an automotive collision repair course at a trade school. It's a profession he knows he will have the rest of his life.
I've always been into cars at a young age, like just being interested in them, and I'm already into the course, so there'll be less of the course for me to actually complete once I graduate.
Plumbing technology instructor Rob Wolf says the school trains them in jobs he considers high in demand and high paying.
There's a lot of money being spent at getting apprentices, getting people trained in these skilled jobs that are actually open. Most that we train in the industries here are ready to go to work, and they have employment ready for them when they graduate.
And it's a trend going upward. He started with a class of 4 students 3 years ago and now has 14 students.
A big skills gap right now, so we are bringing the future industry leaders in, training them.
And he's right. According to the National Skills Coalition.org, middle skilled jobs account for 55% of Florida's labor market, but only 46% of the state's workers are trained to do the middle skilled level. And the demand for these middle skilled jobs will remain strong. Between 2013 through 2021, 51% of job openings will be middle skilled, compared to 28% high skill. Senior Program Director at Career Edge, Deborah Chapman, says they're taking the necessary steps to close these gaps.
We work closely with employers, and we're looking at how can we help them fill those skills gaps. So that's a shortage of plumbers, electricians, mechanics, machinists, and so forth. And there's also a shortage of accountants and financial planners and insurance and engineers.
Which over the course of years, Chapman says getting these jobs filled will help Florida's growth.
Well, it's very important for driving our economy. So our local businesses need to have talent with the skill set to help them grow. And at the same time, for economic prosperity, we need individuals at livable wages and having credentials to get those kinds of jobs.
Chapman points to a seamless transition from high school to college to career, with having a career as the ultimate end result.
Sometimes people will look at those not headed for traditional college, and I think in some ways unfairly, pigeonhole them to be in the trades when those occupations are bringing in, really high academic achieving students that want the opportunity to work with their hands or one day own their own business, and know that they, there's really good paying jobs in all of these programs.
And while many of Lowry's friends might attend a 4-year institution, he's looking to make serious cash before either of his other friends even graduate.
Plenty of hands-on experience, like lab time, and of course getting with an actual job and getting hands-on time, and just being around it like full time, like very little book work and actually working on your craft.
And Alan, those Pell Grants students usually receive at traditional colleges, well, trade school students are also eligible for those same Pell Grants.
Dwayne, thank you. And coming up next, a trade school director, a trade school graduate, and a little old journalist applying his trade at the Trapezoid.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay. Let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
Do I need medical exams, things like that?
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance. Call or go online now.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
Welcome back. Could trade schools be making a comeback? The answer is yes, and here's the problem. A lack of skilled labor force is impacting an increasing number of companies which have jobs but not available workers. Trade schools have been around for a long time, but somewhere along the line we were all conditioned to believe a college degree is your ticket to the middle class or better. But is that really the case? Is it time to rethink the virtue of learning a trade? Joining us for more are Deborah Chapman, the program director at Career Edge, and Elena Chavez, a graduate of that program. And Elena, welcome to the Trapezoid. What do you do for a living?
Hi, I'm a plumber and a backflow specialist, and I work for Plumbing Today.
Let me ask you, what was your thinking? What was your process coming out of high school thinking about whether or not to either go to college or go to a trade school?
Well, with college, I already knew with 4 years that I would probably be in debt. I'm talking to most of my past friends that are currently still paying off a loan. I kind of got the information from Women's Resource Center of the tuition free with Career Edge, saying that if I qualified and applied for FAFSA that they would help me fund my tuition. And so I came out not having any debt at all. They paid for everything. And not only that, but it was only 10 months worth of a class, Monday through Friday, you know, with Robbie Wolf, who was an awesome teacher and taught so much good stuff with plumbing. And not only that, but Suncoast had such a good lab, hands-on, everything you can think of, water heater, toilets, backflows, everything. So that was a plus side on that. And then also knowing that plumbing is something that everyone needs. Water-wise, getting rid of stuff-wise.
It's a recession-proof business.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, FAFSA is the system that the federal government has, whether you're going to a trade school or going to a college or university, to apply to federal aid. And believe me, I have become well acquainted with FAFSA with 2 kids in college right now. There is a little bit of confusion about the differences, you know, in terms of some people, in terms of what is a trade school, what is a community college, and you know, even the president himself sometimes gets these terms confused. This is what he said recently.
A word that you don't hear much, but when I was growing up, we had what was called vocational schools. They weren't called community colleges because I don't know what that means, a community college. To me, it means a 2-year college. I don't know what it means.
Well, Deborah, is that part of the problem, that the president is not alone in that, in this day and age, that people may not really understand what the terms are? I mean, if you have a kid who's going to the community college, by and large, at least around here, they know they're not going to a trade school.
Right, and at State College of Florida, you can get a 2-year degree, AS, which is an Associate of Science, which is a terminal degree, or an AA, which is to move on to a bachelor's degree. People don't realize that the technical colleges, Suncoast Technical and Manatee Technical, offer these certifications that are in high demand with high-wage jobs, and usually those are a career in a year.
And we're probably going to continue talking about this in the next segment, but I at least want to start the conversation. So often when we hear the latest jobs report, we hear manufacturers saying the problem is they don't have enough skilled workers to do the job.
That's right, and that's why in 2012 we were instrumental in bringing the precision machining program at Suncoast Technical. And those graduates every year are in high demand and getting often hired, or they try to hire them before they even finish the program. So the manufacturing people are surprised, and our community is one of the highest growing industries.
What is the demand for workers with a trade, whether or not it's plumbing or welding or the automotive, here on the Suncoast right now?
Very high. So there's critical shortages based on both the need from the expansion post-recession and something we call the silver tsunami. Baby boomers are retiring. So we have a huge shortage of workers in the trades, and we're trying to recruit. Something that we do a lot at Career Edge is trying to get the message out in the community in general and to the students in the K-12 in the school system that these are good pathways, these are good jobs. And Elena's nodding because that's...
Yeah, 'cause Robbie Wolf even said that 55% of plumbers are actually retiring and only 17% are going in.
Okay, we are just getting warmed up on our conversation. We'll have more on trade schools in a moment, right after we check the First Alert weather.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with a family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Each day, researchers make discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Their progress is made possible with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more. Together, we can stand up for all of us.
Our conversation on trade schools continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Alan, the lawns are getting their fair share of rain to get them green here over the upcoming weeks. I tell you, the rain came in late today. That was due to some dry air. I was watching it last night at the 11 o'clock newscast, and sure enough, it shut things out all morning long near the coast, and in the afternoon really exploded inland due to the heating of the day. And then a little piece of energy rotating around that weak area of low pressure out in the Gulf of Mexico sprung up some big storms, and they moved on shore just shortly after 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon. They're still around, although they are weakening. Some big storms along, looks like the border of Sarasota, Manatee, Hardee, and DeSoto counties. You can see this is some tremendous amount of rain falling right now into near Wauchula, stretching down just to the west of Arcadia. There could be some flooding issues right there, but this is the rain that moved through in earlier. And you can still see it's light to moderate, occurring all the way from Sarasota northward up to northwest Bradenton, covering Palmetto Parish, not getting as much right now, and Longboat Key getting some light rain showers, but the heaviest by far along Longboat Key, stretching up toward Cortez. And along 275, the bridge, not the best driving, but it's not bad. It's not torrential like they're seeing inland areas here where there are a few lightning strikes as well. And what we have is, look at this. This has just developed over the last hour. You can see the radar loop showing a very intense line of storms out here developing. Now, it's a long way off from us. Water temperatures are warmer out here on top of that. So that's the reason why it's exploding with some thunderstorms tonight. But that'll take about, 4 or 5 hours before it comes our way, and we'll have a chance for some redevelopment of storms, I think, especially after midnight, and we could hear some rumble of thunder. Well, get a look at this impressive amount of rainfall just within the last 12 hours, actually the last 2 hours, 3.3 there in New Duet, and then an inch on Holmes Beach right there. Lesser amounts in Venice, 0.3 of an inch there, 0.9 of an inch just to the north of Northport. Now, we had that dry air around earlier. That has now since moistened up. There's still some back here, but it's not going to be entrained as much as we saw this morning. So we will see a break in the sun and the clouds now and again throughout the day on Wednesday. So look for partly cloudy skies with a good chance for showers and storms mainly in the afternoon and evening, although I would not be surprised to see some morning action too. But here's a look at the forecast showing that low pressure spinning just to the south of the panhandle of Florida. But around it, we have the southwesterly wind flow, which continues to bring in some extreme tropical moisture. And that moisture will bring us a chance for showers and storms, especially, as I mentioned, in the afternoon. Here's 4 o'clock. Now, don't be surprised by a morning storm, though. There's still that possibility. But I think the heavier storms will be here in the afternoon and evening on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Well, the wind flow, not all that strong. I don't expect that to develop into a tropical depression or a storm at this point. The Hurricane Center is giving it a 30% chance of development over the next 5 days as it drifts to the north. But our winds will stay out of the south. That'll keep us in that thick moisture regime, it looks like, right through the end of this week and beyond. Currently, we have some light rain, a few thunderstorms around the airport, 72 degrees, and the dew point temperature is 69, which was way up there. The high today, well, we warmed to 85, just 1 degree shy of our normal 86. The low this morning was summer-like at 71. National radar picture showing a storm system merging kind of over the southeast, so we're going to see a tremendous amount of flooding problems, I think, over the southeast United States, especially in the mountains of North Carolina. We could get some heavy rains there. South winds for boaters tomorrow. Outside of the storms, those winds and seas will be a little higher near those scattered storms tomorrow during the midday, especially a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast, you guessed it, a good chance for scattered storms right in through Monday of next week. It tapers off a little bit on Tuesday. Looks like we'll see these scattered showers and storms over the next 6 days. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore 2 hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience, that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand
what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Welcome back. We're talking about the comeback of trade schools, and joining us for more are Deborah Chapman, Program Director at Career Edge, and Elena Chavez, a graduate of that program. And Elena, let me start with you. I was looking at different stories about trade schools today. I found this passage from one of those stories. It's part of the national trend that's been going on for decades now, that students go to high school, graduate, and head off to four-year university. It almost becomes a coming-of-age ritual. Meanwhile, vocational programs have gained a reputation as being a place where you go when you can't hack it elsewhere. That's not true.
No, not at all.
You made a decision, as you described to us, that this is work that you love to do and a salary that you can live on.
Yes, I'm pretty much set right now where I'm at, and I continue to grow, and the more I grow and gain knowledge, which is always available out there because plumbing is always expanding, you're always learning new stuff with plumbing. You know, the more I grow and the more knowledge I gain, the more money I'm going to make, and the more I can help people as well. So that's the thrill of my job is you guys need a plumber, you guys need water, you need us to take care of that sanitary stuff. You know, and it's not only a job, but it's a career, and I don't work a day in my life because I love what I do.
When you were starting this process, what was your thinking in terms of what trade to go into? Was it a long-term interest of yours, or did you go through down the line and look at a number of different things and finally going the plumbing route?
So actually, when I was at the Women's Resource Center and I was doing the employment program, we were talking about that. You know, what kind of job would you want if you want kids, if you want to be settled, if you want that house? And I thought about it. You know, what's always going to be there? You know, and I saw that flyer. I'm like, plumbing. You know, I never really thought about plumbing. I never did any type of plumbing work in my life, but I definitely stepped on it and took advantage of it, and I don't regret it one bit.
Deborah, we talked about how plumbing is a recession-proof business, but there have been other stories, especially with the economic downturn in 2008, that really hit the building industry. There were a lot of people who worked in those trades, in building houses and large construction projects, and those industries were devastated at the time. They're now making a comeback, and with that are the jobs.
Right. But as you mentioned, these particular construction trades are pretty recession-proof. So plumbing, electrician, air conditioning technicians, those are very, very stable. Manufacturing, machinists, those are in high growth. Automotive mechanics, they're also in high demand. So some of the labor that you see in construction that don't carry the certifications and some of the training that goes with these skilled labor programs are more prone to those cyclical impacts, but not the majority of the trades are not that are growing in Florida. They're very, very stable, and the economists predict will continue to grow. There's going to be ongoing demand for many years.
Let's talk about a little bit in terms of the financial assistance out there for those who want to go to these schools. We talked about FAFSA, which is what, you know, anybody who sends a kid to college knows exactly what that is. You apply to the federal government for aid. The president in the State of the Union address talked about making more money available for young people who want to go to trade schools. How will that work?
Well, right now, a lot of people don't realize that as it exists today, Pell Grants, which is why you fill out the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, that application for any program that's 600 hours or more. So the vast majority of programs at Manatee Technical College and Suncoast Technical in Sarasota are Pell eligible. That means that based on financial need, the average award's $4,000, the cap around $6,000. These programs are completely paid for by those federal dollars for low-income families. There's also a lot of private scholarships. Our community foundations, our donors in the community are very generous, and there's money available for these technical trade programs that people don't realize, that they need to go to the school and fill out those applications, that there's scholarships there. In terms of new changes, right now there's a lot of bipartisan support with the Jobs Act that's up for a vote to decrease the Pell eligibility in terms of the number of hours to even shorter term programs. Employers are really desperate right now for training, so some of the programs we can get them faster in a shorter period of time in terms of training and get them out there, and with the Pell eligibility decreasing the hours, there's more dollars available.
Elena, how did you go about it? Did you have the money to pay for the education up front? Did you go the Pell route? Did you fill out FAFSA? How did it work?
And so, well, with the flyer tuition free, it caught my eye. So I went and applied, and I qualified for FAFSA. Half of the grant there paid for half of the class, and then Career Edge stepped in because I was attending the college and wanting to go forth with a career. They paid the rest of it. I walked out not paying a thing except for a t-shirt, which was $8 for the class. Like, I bought like 4 of them, and they lasted for the week.
And what Elena's describing is the program that we did, mailing out postcards to all of the high school graduates in Sarasota County over the last 7 years saying free college tuition, plumbing, tech program, but the bottom, fill out the FAFSA, must fill out the FAFSA. And we shared it with our community partners like the Women's Resource Center.
And how quickly did you get a job?
So I did the 10 months, well, I started the class in September, and then I graduated in May, and literally like 3 weeks later, I was hired on Plumbing Today, and 3 months later, after training with Michael Collins, another backflow technician there, I was in my own truck, and I brought it here today. It's a pink van, so it's really nice because I'm a female, so it's able to, you know, show other females as well that it's okay to be a plumber in a male-dominated field.
Well, let me ask you this, how many females, how many women are there that you're working alongside with?
So, well, with the class, I was the only female in the class of 13 guys. It was pretty fun to get that experience. But with my personal company, there's me and Katie. And Katie's in projects, so she does a lot of repipes. I do a lot of the service and backflow. So just 2 of us.
Something we're trying to do is get more women into the trades, and we were thrilled when Elena joined it. And she was, she graduated first in the class, and they dubbed her Queen of Soldering. So
yeah, I'm the queen of soldering at my job. So every time I walk in the office, like, "What's up, Elena? You're Queen of Soldering," because I just love the solder.
Deborah, is it an issue that here in Florida, it seems like most people are from someplace else, and the terminology used to describe vocational schools and you know, community colleges and trade schools are different around the country, and does that result in some kind of confusion around here in terms of parents and young people in terms of what they're dealing with?
Yeah, absolutely. And for like Sarasota County, it used to be the Sarasota County Technical Institute, and it was changed to Sarasota or Suncoast Technical College. But there is a lot of confusion because people don't understand what all these different words mean. What we try to do in simplifying it, especially working with the students in the high schools, is that their pathways is a technical trade. There's the availability of these colleges is 1 year or less to get that technical certification. And I think the key thing is showing that these jobs are high-paying, high-wage, career laddering. And we have to do some work with the parents too, by the way. It isn't just getting young adults interested in the programs. We have to show their parents that today's trades, you know, have really high opportunities. It isn't manufacturing. It isn't dirty jobs. There's some of that perception we have to overcome.
And I made reference to that off the top, that we almost have become conditioned as a society that you want your kid to go to college. And that's, number one, that's difficult for many families. And number two, that really doesn't account to the interests of those children. So is there an educational factor that goes along with this in terms of the parent and the child together?
Absolutely, and that's something that we're really working on, helping them to understand those pathways and understand the wages, because they're very, very high for a lot of these jobs. You've already, you know, alluded to it. The starting wages in some of these technical trades is in that $15 to $20 an hour, but move up very, very quickly. There's research that's shown that you know, some of these high-skilled trades are surpassing bachelor's level in a very, very short period of time. So that's something that I think families, once they understand that opportunity, that changes their perception.
Okay, I want to thank you both. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on a Brookside middle school teacher getting suspended and charged. John Russo allegedly pushed a student up against a wall after he approached a track meet with a hoodie on and refused to stop and identify himself. Russo has been put on leave and charged with battery. We went to Facebook for your thoughts, and Shannon says wearing a hoodie might be against school rules, but at what point is it a threat to students? He should have took it up with the school resource officer. He is a teacher, not the police. Lourdes says he acted honorably. His only motive was to protect students' lives from someone that appeared to be a threat. And Susan says the student should have done what he was told, period. End of discussion. No hoodies means no hoodies. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. Deborah Chapin is the program director at Career Edge, and Elena Chavez is a graduate of the program. When we return, we'll be joined by our business correspondent, Richard Stern, to discuss the stock market. So stay with us.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here.
Why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips. So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm going to show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Me, pick me. Oh, come on, man. Oh, man, I love technology. Hey, yo, check out my new phone. Look at this right here. For years, the DeSoto Club has needed improvements. Join me and Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County as we raise money to build a brand new facility. It will be bigger and better, just like it was 40 years ago when I attended. Invest in kids. Build great futures.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. After some weeks of, shall we say, volatility, the stock market is once again on a roll, but that brings up what we as investors should do to avoid huge mistakes. And here to tell us about that and the highs and the lows of the stock market is ABC7 business correspondent Richard Stern. So Richard, first, I mean, we had some volatility the last few weeks based upon the tariffs against China, the concern about ripping up the Iranian nuclear deal. Is that now baked into the market?
I think for the most part the answer to that is yes. The thing that's not baked in, and of course we always say Wall Street doesn't like surprises, we simply have a good handle, I think, on the economics of earnings. We don't have a good handle on the whole political scene and what's happening around the world. So I think the risks in the market are short term, and the risks are simply those things that we don't know. But from a standpoint of how well the economy is doing, I think the answer is pretty well, and we probably do know.
Does the stock market get used to what may be the instability of U.S. government policy and the impact it may have around the world?
Well, we're getting more used to it, let me put it that way. Certainly, we're dealing in a timeline, and as we've discussed before, we're dealing in a whole environment that we've really never dealt in before. But I think investors have to realize that there are times to buy quality stocks and own them. Many times people make the mistake of trying to buy a stock, and then if it goes in any meaningful way in either direction, they immediately sell it. And that I look at a company like Apple. I think you're familiar with them. You look at Apple and you ask yourself, when was the right time to sell Apple? The answer is not in my lifetime. When was the right time to buy it? The right time to buy it is when you had the money available. The stock at all times was trading pretty much at all-time highs. It's at all-time highs again. But the key is, if it's a good company and you think it's going to continue to grow, even if it's at an all-time high, go ahead and buy the stock.
Despite that, even in this environment and this economy, are you seeing investors make certain mistakes out there that you would have advised them not to make?
Well, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is there's an old Wall Street adage, buy low and sell high. The public has a tendency, unfortunately, to do just the reverse. They buy high and sell low. Just this year, and we're not really a trading firm, but just this year, if you had bought things in early January, by the middle of February, you were up 10 or 11%. And guess what? From the middle of February to the middle of March, you were back down 10 to 11%. You can't really trade those kinds of markets. You really have to be an investor.
But around here, I would imagine you're dealing with a client base that is nearing the end of the point that they want to be in it for the long haul.
Well, that's exactly right. And certainly if your time frame is very short, you need to sit down with an investment advisor and make sure that you understand how much risk you're taking in your portfolio. But the key, of course, interest rates are starting to go higher, and the Fed has made it very clear they're going to continue to go higher. So people who want fixed income like bonds or CDs, the rates are higher, but they're going to go higher still, so I wouldn't be in a hurry to buy them.
Okay. Richard, thank you very much. Richard Stern joins us every other Tuesday to discuss Wall Street and the stock market and more. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus our primetime headlines, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Alan, what's happening? We're looking at the Casey Key webcam showing the storms rolling in this afternoon, and some of them were heavy. The whitecaps out there, high surf on Casey Key and Siesta Key, as well as Longboat Key. That activity starting to wind down here along the immediate coastline, but still firing up into Hillsborough County, also into Polk County. And then notice another line of storms developing offshore about 150 miles. west of Manatee and Sarasota counties. This is going to pinwheel in our direction, and we could see some redevelopment later on tonight and into the early morning hours. Right now, that rain is light to moderate, occurring from North Sarasota County and through Bradenton, Palmetto, stretching off toward northwest Bradenton. It is starting to lessen now on Anna Maria Island, but you can see some more showers starting to pop up to the south and to the west of Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte, with by far the heaviest rain now and lightning into our central counties, Hardy and DeSoto counties. There it is, light rain now along I-275, the bridge there along I-75 up to Parrish. Some moderate rainfall occurring there right in State Road 64, State Road 70, all the way down into Lakewood Ranch, getting some light rainfall to moderate rain. And that will continue for at least the next hour or so, and then things will start to calm down, but then we'll have to watch this as it works its way in our general direction during the early morning hours on Wednesday. Rainfall amounts have been really impressive inland areas, over 3 inches reported in some locations. Now that dry air that had been around, you see it right there, kind of gave us a sunny day today. Well, it now appears that that's starting to thin out a bit to the west of us, so we'll see a little bit better chance for some showers and storms in the mix tomorrow afternoon and especially tomorrow evening as this low pressure area just kind of sits out here and spins in the Gulf of Mexico, and it looks as though it's not going anywhere anytime fast. It's going to stay out there in the Gulf on Wednesday, and Thursday it will be drifting off into the northern portion of the Gulf, and then eventually spinning off toward the southeast, I think, on Thursday and Friday. But it will leave this trail of moisture behind, which will allow us to see scattered showers, a few thunderstorms right through the weekend and beyond, even into Monday. The winds will be out of the south tomorrow, and they'll pick up at times up to 15 to 20 with gusts at times, but that's it. It's not going to be a big windstorm out there in the Gulf. It'll just be a rainmaker for the most part, and the rain won't be an all-day event on Wednesday. It'll be scattered showers, a few thunderstorms, and then occasionally partly cloudy skies expected. 71 currently at the airport. It's cooled after a high today into the mid-80s, and the humidity at 93%. Winds out of the southeast at 9. As far as the national satellite and radar imagery goes, another storm system going to merge with this moisture and really cause all sorts of headaches with heavy rainfall over the lower to mid-Mississippi Valley over the 24 to 48 hours, next 24 to 48. And you see the rotation. The upper level low continues to spin here, but it's the surface reflection that we're seeing in the Gulf of Mexico, which is generating the energy to create these other bands of showers and storms that we'll see during the early morning hours on Wednesday. For boaters, it looks to be okay. South winds at 15 knots. Seas will be 2 to 3 feet. We'll have a moderate chop. Now, the winds and seas will be higher near those individual thunderstorms that could pop up in the Gulf, so keep that in mind, mariners. 7-day forecast calls for a good chance for scattered storms. This almost looks like a summer pattern, but we don't see the high temperatures in the low 90s. They're in the low 80s to mid 80s right through Monday, with low temperatures in the low 70s. Primetime headlines. It's back with Alan just after this. Stick around.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Checking primetime headlines, the summit between President Trump and North Korea's leader is in danger. CNN's Natasha Chen explains.
Aides say some in the White House were caught off guard hearing in the media about a warning from North Korea. The warning came amidst annual joint military exercises between the U.S. and South Korea. North Korea says the U.S. should carefully consider the fate of the planned June 12th summit in view of what it calls provocative military disturbances with South Korea.
Well, they're certainly not provocative. These are things that we do all around the world with many of our partners and allies. These are things that have occurred for decades and decades.
This warning comes as North Korea suspended talks with South Korea hours before their meetings were set to resume. North Korea's state news agency says the drill was against the Panmunjom Declaration, signed last month between the Koreas, when they had agreed to stop all hostile acts against each other.
Kim Jong-un had said previously that he understands the need and the utility of the United States and the Republic of Korea continuing in its joint exercises. They're exercises that are legal, they're planned well in advance.
The Pentagon says the defensive nature of these combined exercises has been clear for many decades and has not changed. The State Department says President Trump is still planning his summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, set for next month in Singapore. In Washington, I'm Natasha Chen.
Tom Wolfe, an innovative journalist and author, has died. His agent says he was hospitalized with an infection and died yesterday. Wolfe's work includes The Bonfire of the Vanities and The Right Stuff. Wolfe was known as a pioneer of literary style in the nonfiction that became known as New Journalism. He is survived by his wife of 40 years, Sheila, and 2 children. He was 88 years old. And that's all the time we have. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Good night.